now joined by McKinney boys girls basketball coach Rochelle Vaughn. We're going to talk about their team as they are in the middle of their district play. They just played their first district game not too long ago. They lost it to Plano West, one of the district favorites. So you're 0-1 district play at the moment, but there's still a lot to look forward to. 9 district games left, and you're playing an opponent next in Plano that you've already played only about a couple weeks ago in one of the holiday tournaments.
Correct. So hopefully, having played them already, we kind of game plan differently. We know what they can and can't do, so hope we get a victory tomorrow.
You're 10-12 overall on the season, and now you're 0-1 in district play. So it's been one of those years where you've been able to win a lot of the games you should have and haven't been able to win some of the ones that you would like to in order to try and make that push for your players. But you have a lot of experience in the squad. How have you tried to help coach them up to help the learning curve grow quicker?
I think for us, we do a lot of intense practices. We go against some of our guys' teams, our freshman boys and our JV boys, just to kind of simulate a game against our varsity opponents, especially for our freshmen and our sophomores who are getting a lot of playing time right now. I think we only have one true senior who's been through the playoff trenches of trying to get to the playoffs, and Haley Carruthers, our captain. Everybody else is kind of like, oh, district, and they kind of give us those, well, I don't know what to do type looks because they are so young. I got a couple of 13-year-olds playing varsity right now.
And you mentioned Haley Carruthers. She was injured earlier in the year, and now she's just really getting back in the flow of things. You really haven't seen the best of Haley Carruthers just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. I think she has to get in game shape, so we have her doing a little extra cardio, trying to build that back up for her, get her legs underneath her. She gets tired really quickly because she had an ankle injury, so she was out about 2.5 months. Which was kind of good for us in a way. It was a blessing in disguise because we got to develop our young players, got to play a lot more. I'm playing 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores, a lot of playing time. I think if Haley was here from the beginning, they probably wouldn't have gotten as much playing time. They were kind of thrust into that pressure type moments of all the games that we had before now. So hopefully it pays off. Now we have Haley back moving into district.
Which one of those freshman and sophomore groups that you talked about has impressed you so far with this varsity schedule that it's kind of exceeded the expectations so far?
I think Jordan Hernandez, she's our starting point guard as a sophomore. She's gotten a lot better. She still has moments where she freaks out and turns the ball over a lot, but she's a lot steadier now that we're in a district. I think Alex Crane is a freshman for us. That's probably our 6th man off the bench. She gives us a different dimension on our team because she's a great penetrator and can pretty much guard any guard position. And then Carly Kaufman is a guard forward. She's probably our best shooter. If she gets hot, she can knock down a couple of shots for us. So they've all done some great things so far this season. We'll look for them to do more things moving on throughout district.
You also have a junior player in Jordan Bridewell who's that interior presence for you. And you were talking to me earlier before the show how sometimes she can go off and have a double-double. She had 21 points in a game against Sherman earlier this year. And then sometimes she can sort of be a non-factor. What's kind of, you think, the thing that makes her, flip the switch to go off sometimes? And how do you get that to flicker on more often?
I think when she gets a little angry and gets something happens in the game, somebody makes her mad, another team, the refs, something makes her get her fire going. She plays a lot better for us. She makes a good play. They can get her going. She gets a steal on our press. She's very deceiving as far as rebounding and quick. People don't think, oh, she's a tall white girl, but she's really quick and she has great jumping abilities. I think for us to be successful, she has to pretty much give us a double-double game in and game out and not get so frustrated because she tends to get in foul trouble sometimes. But she could be our X factor.
One of the things that you're just looking forward to going in district play is trying to be more consistent. That's been one of the things that has played you in some of these earlier games, and especially against teams that will press the ball handlers, that they're learning just how to avoid that pressure and how to get it across the timeline and everything. Is it just practice and game experience? Is that all really it takes to get more consistent?
Yeah, I think the more you see it, the more you go through it. Obviously, hopefully, the better you get at it. We try to do it every single day in practice against ourselves, but it's a little different when you go against a totally different team who may be a little bit more athletic than your team is, like a Marcus or a Plano West. Their girls are taller, so it's a little different look. And I just think the more you go through something and you experience it, the better you'll be at it. It builds your confidence. Once you learn how to ride a bike, once you fall so many times, and then once you finally get it down, you're like, oh, I can do this now. It's kind of the same thing for our young players. I think they got a little confidence the first half against Plano West, kind of get their belief up, their confidence up. So next time we hopefully play them again, we'll have a better result.
You're right there with Plano West. Basically it was about a tie score, maybe a point or two difference in the third quarter, and then they started to take that lead when they enabled their full court press. And Plano West is a talented team that they've had a lot of starters returning from last year's team that went deep in the playoffs. As you face the rest of the district opponents, especially Plano, who you're playing tomorrow, how do you approach those games and learn from the Plano West mistakes that you made?
I think it helps us. It builds us, gives us confidence that we know we can compete. I think for our team, initially it was a belief factor. I think that's the mental part of basketball is the biggest thing that we struggle with sometimes is we just don't quite believe that we're supposed to be in that situation. I think going through the Plano West game and already playing Plano and competing very well against both teams kind of opened our young players' eyes up to say, hey, we can beat them. We can play with these teams and get a W, which is what we're going to go for tomorrow.
And as a coach, obviously with a few more district games to play, the playoffs is the goal. What's the main one thing that needs to happen, you feel, to make the playoffs for McKinney Boyd?
I think we got to keep our defensive intensity up and rebounding, defense and rebounding. I think we don't score that many points, but we can limit how many points everybody else is scoring against us. We have a chance.
Well, Coach Vaughn, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming by on the show.
Thank you for having me.
McKinney Boyd, they're 10-12 overall in the season, 0-1 in district play, but they have played the district favorites in Plano West already. Still 9 games to go. They have Plano coming up tomorrow night. Should be a great game and a chance for the Broncos to get back to even in their district record.